Welcome students. In the previous class we discussed about Robert Frost poem, first poem, that is Dust of Snow. In this second part by the same poet we are going to discuss about fire and ice. Here in this part, before introduction of this poem, I want to tell you something very important, that this poem again has a good message for you. This poem has apparent as well as hidden meaning. Apparent meaning that is based on the atmospheric condition. Here, when we read introduction, we find Robert Frost's poem Fire and Ice expresses the profound idea that the world would end in either of two ways, either by ice or fire. Both the components are compared with self-destructing human emotions, hatred and desire. The poem very artistically underpins the philosophy that we let our emotions rule us, and if we don't control them, they will surely destroy everything around us. Similarly, the poet thinks fire and ice both are just as competent in bringing the world to a catastrophic end. In the poem, on the whole, apparently, the poet wants to say that the world will end in because of too much hot. It means fire. Atmosphere will become so hostile, will turn so hostile that it can burn the whole world, and the temperature will be too high. And next, vice versa, when the atmosphere will become so cold that the the world will freeze to die. When we start this poem, the first stanza, some say the world will end in fire, some say in ice. From what I have tasted of desire, I hold with those who favor fire. Some, some here stand for the people of the world. Some say the world will end in fire. According to the poet, people say that the world will end in fire. The poet here means to say that the world will end because of fire. Fire means the temperature will be very hot and the life will want to death. In second, some say in ice, and second group of people say that this world will end because of extreme cold. Ice here means extreme cold. From what I have tasted of desire. Desire means when we have so many needs to meet, to complete. In order to fulfill here desire, you can see I have highlighted this desire. When we have so much requirement, so much need, and in order to fill them, we will see neither justice nor any kind of goodness. Here the poet want to say that I hold with those who favor fire. Here I hold with those means I favor all the people who say that the world will end because of the people's desirousness. I hold with those who favor fire. And second, the poet also favor the people who say that the earth will end in fire. Here, when we talk about deeper meaning, as I told you earlier, the poet expresses apparent meaning, that is fire and ice, means hot and cold. And when we talk about the deeper meaning, here it is desire and fire. Desire. When we talk about desire, means human will see no goodness to complete his desire, and he will be burned by the fire of desire. When we see the second stanza, but if it had to perish twice, perish means destroyed, destruction. But if it had to perish twice, but if the world is destined, means if its fate, its luck leads toward its end, second time, I think I know enough of it. I think the world will end with the people's hate. The people will hate each other. Hate means here, that is, here in this poem, ice symbolize hate. Ice symbolize hate, and desire symbolize fire. To say that for destruction ice is also great and would suffice. Suffice means that sufficient. Suffice means sufficient. The poet here in the end say that I think if the world is destined to end second time, it will certainly be finished, it will certainly be destructed because of the people's hate each other. People will hate each other to that extent that they will see no goodness, rather they will hate each other so much that they can kill one another. And this is sufficient. This hatredness among people will be very suffice means will be sufficient to end the world, to end the life on the earth. In the end, the poet want to say that there are climatic conditions as well as feelings of the people also that will cause the destruction on this earth. Now here we discuss about the important words. Desire, as I told you earlier, a strong feeling of wanting to have something or wishing for something to happen. Then favor, approval of something, sport, and then perish in the end, that is die or destroy. And as I told you, once again I am telling this, suffice. Suffice means sufficient to the full amount. Next comes conclusion. The poet wants to conclude this poem saying that, and if I read this, the poem very artistically underpins the philosophy that we let our emotions rule us, and if we don't control them, they will surely bring us all on the verge of chaos. Here it can be taken in brief. The message of this poem means human being should develop his controlling power. If he doesn't do so, the world will end for sure. Next comes poetic device. That is very important to discuss about poetic device when we think about rhyming scheme. So for that we have to go back to the first and second stanza. If we say there, here it is the last word of the first line is fire, and then we have desire, and then we have fire. So a, fire, desire, a, and fire, a. And then when we see the second line, it is ice. So a, b, a, b, a is the rhyming scheme. And when we go on to the second line, Paris twice. Now see here, where is ice? In second line, and here it is twice, second line. So here B. And when we have then heat is also another that we can give it C. And then again ice, it means B, C, B, and suffice. Again it is when we see there ice, B. So here when we see that the rhyming scheme of this A, B, A, B, C, B, C, B. Assonance. Assonance is very important poetic device by which we means where we have vowel sound. Vowel sound prominent in any line. When we have the repetition of vowel sound, no matter it is in initial position or middle position or in the end. Here in this stanza we have O sound in last line, that is O sound. I hold. Last line. You see this last line, I hold, O sound, with those, again O sound, who, O sound, favor, O sound. In this line, this is very good example of assonance. Now, second, we see that alliteration. Alliteration, when we have sound in two consecutive words, that is called alliteration. When we have the same sound here, now I am not talking about any consonant or vowel. No, it is only consonant sound. Consonant sound, let's go back to see this, where we can find this. Here some say S sound, S, in first line. Some say, some, and then we have say. Some say, some say, some say. This is example of alliteration. Now next is, that is alliteration done. Enjambment. Enjambment, poetic device by which we means that when we have two or more lines that complete a sentence is called enjambment. Enjambment, here we see the example of enjambment. When we discuss about, you see here, to say that for destruction ice is also great and would suffice. Here it is, there is no punctuation mark. being followed here in last four lines. It is example of enjambment. Then we have anaphora. Anaphora, when we go back, anaphora when we have the initial word same. Initial word same in two lines, consecutive two lines. For example, in first two line of this first stanza, some, and in second is again some say, some say, some say. This is example of anaphora. So now we see that in next is personification. Personification where we uh, make any non-living thing that is personified as human being, or we can say when the non-living thing are made to act like human being. Here ice and fire both are personified. So these are some poetic devices used in the poem. In next slide we have important questions. Important questions. There are many ideas about how the world will end. Do you think the world will end someday? Have you ever thought what would happen if the sun got so hot that it burst or grew colder and colder? Here in this you will develop your value points and you will write the answer. Second is write a brief summary of the poem in about 120 words. These are the important questions which you will write in your notebook. That's all for today. Thank you.